Everyone, this is Justin, and today we'll be talking about in-text citations and the reference page in regards to like APA format. So with in-text citation, there's two big reasons to use those in-text citations, and that's either if you're talking about a concept or idea that isn't your own, or using quotes, like a direct quote from a person that isn't your own, essentially. So that's kind of the reason for using those in-text citations. So when it comes to using like a concept, let's say that it's Davis. He found something in 2019, and that's his last name, of course, Davis. So let's say it's like Davis 2019 found that CSP is great. And then if there's a page number, you'd include that at the end. And remember, the punctuation goes after the page number in the parentheses. And then if you cite them and you don't actually use their name in the sentence, so we say he found that CSP is great, then you would kind of cite it this way, which is Davis, comma, space, of course, and then like 2019, and then space, period, or space P, period, 220. So, and once again, when you're using page numbers in APA, it's just P period space and then the page number. So that's kind of how that would look. If you're using a direct quote, let's say we just turn the CSP is great thing into a direct quote, it would be it would look something like this, where it's according to Davis, 2019, and then comma, CSP is great, and that's quote in quotes, and then the page number and things like that. And then of course, once again, the period, even in quotes, the period is still after the page number. And then, like, if you're not using the author's name, it would just be quote-unquote CSP is great, and then you cite it like so. So that's kind of the concept of, like, in-text citations. There's a lot to them, so I would suggest, like, looking them up on Purdue OWL. They kind of have most of the scenarios down for you, because there's a lot that you can run into when you're, like, writing papers and things like that. Then we can take a look at the reference page. So what I've found the most success with is looking up actually Purdue OWL. They have examples of what your reference page should look like. And this is kind of so what I like to do is get the information from the source and then plug it in as I see, like essentially plug it in how Purdue OWL has it formatted for you. So we can go ahead and try plugging this in. And this is kind of, once again, this is just the Purdue OWL format. For APA, which is correct. So essentially, once an author, meaning their last name, so we have Patrick Love, so we'll just put Love, and then comma, space, P, which is their first initial. They don't have a middle initial, so we don't have to worry about that. And then this is only if there's multiple authors. You'd have to put like you'd have to cite them all, essentially using like an ampersand for the last one. But we don't have one, we just have one person. So essentially, we just could put a space, and then the year, which is 2012, and then a period after that. The periods are kind of the hardest thing to remember, what goes, like, when do you put periods where. So that's what I really like about using, like, Purdue OWL, is it has that, and you can just, like, follow that directly and follow that, like, essentially, like, letter for letter and period for period, essentially. So, and then the next thing we have is the title of the article, and what we have is informal theory, colon, ignored, Lincoln theory to practice. And then we have a period again, so we can do that. And then we have the title of the periodical, and that would be the name of the periodical, which is Journal of College Student Development. And then, once again, and it also has that you have to have that like italicized, so we can also do that easily, like so. And then that has a comma after it. And then we have the volume number, which is 53, and that's also italicized. Luckily, it kept it for us. And then we have the issue number, and there's no space after that, so that's kind of important. That's just another formatting thing that people kind of do look into that stuff, and they catch you on that. Particularly like art professors, they're really big on like APA format. And then the issue number, which is 2, and that's in parentheses. And then comma, space, and then the pages. And once again, that's P period space 177, 191. And that is not italicized. So we can do this really quickly. Yeah. And so that's what it'll kind of look like. And of course, it's supposed to be double space. We can do that real quick. So yeah, that's essentially what it would look like. The only thing is, there is hanging indents for APA format. Hanging indents I've found are kind of, I essentially recently discovered it. Oh, and by the way, you're supposed to have a period there. So that's good. And then, so hanging indents, the easiest way I found is you highlight the under, if there's two lines essentially. And what we can do is click and drag where it says hanging indent. And then boom, and it's a 1/2 inch. So, and luckily they measure it out for you. And boom. That is your first reference. So yeah, that's kind of, and once again, you can follow all that stuff on like Purdue Owl. They have a really good, when it comes to looking at the sources, looking at the format, it's really easy kind of doing it that way. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Have a great day.